Hello, everybody. This is Inanna. I'll be reading section 3 from the book of Urantia. I'm actually waiting for my stuff to upload. Trying to get ready. Okay, here it is. Hello, everybody. This is Inanna. I'll be reading episode 3 from the book of Urantia, and it's called God is a Universal Spirit. God is spirit. He is a universal spiritual presence. The universal Father is an infinite spiritual reality. He is the sovereign, eternal, immortal, invisible, and only true God. Even though you are the offspring of God, you ought not to think that the Father is like yourselves in form and physique, because you are said to be created in his image, indwelt by mystery monitors, dispatched from the central abode of his eternal presence. Spirit beings are real, notwithstanding they are invisible to human eyes, even though they are not flesh and blood, said the seer of old. I'm having a hard time. Hold on. I need my glasses. Um, Said the seer of old, lo, he goes by me. This is hard. All right, let me do it right. Let me see. Said the said the seer of old, lo, he goes by me, and I see him not. He pauses, and also, but I perceive him not. We may constantly observe the works of God. He may be highly conscious of the material evidences of his majestic conduct, but rarely may we gaze upon the visible manifestation of his divinity, not even to behold the presence of his delegated spirit of human indwelling. The universal Father is not invisible because he is hiding himself away from the lowly creatures of materialistic handicaps and limited spiritual endorsements. The situation rather is, you cannot see me, my face, for no matter mortal can see me and live. No material man could behold the Spirit of God and preserve his mortal existence. The glory and the spiritual brilliance of the divine personality presence is impossible of approach by the lower groups of spirit beings or by any order of material personalities. The spiritual luminosity of the Father's personal presence is a light which no mortal man can approach, which no material creature has seen, or can see. But it is not necessarily to see God with the eyes of the flesh in order to discern him by the faith vision of the spiritual mind. The spiritual nature of the universal Father is shared. I gotta get it right. In the universes, God the Father is in potential the over controller of matter, mind, and spirit. Only by means of his far flung personality circuit does God deal directly with the personalities of his vast creation of all will creatures. But he is contactable only in the presence of his fragmented entities, the will of God abroad in the universe, this paradise spirit that indwells the mind of the mortals of time and there fosters the evolution of the immortal soul of the surviving creature, is of nature and divinity of the universal Father. But the minds of such evolutionary creatures originate in the local universes and must gain divine perfection by achieving these experimental transformations of spiritual attainments, which are the inevitable result of a creature's choosing to do the will of the Father in heaven. In the inner experience of man, mind is joined to matter. Such material linked minds cannot survive mortal death. The technique of survival is embraced in the adjustment of the human will and those transformations in the mortal mind, whereby such as a God conscious intellect gradually becomes spirit taught and eventually spirit led. The evolution of the human mind from matter association to spirit union results in the transmutation of the potentially spirit phases of the mortal mind into the more Morantia real, real lights of the immortal soul. Mortal mind subservient to matter is destined to become increasingly material and consequently to suffer eventually personality extinction. Mind yielded to spirit is destined to become increasingly spiritual and ultimately to achieve oneness with the surviving and guiding divine spirit, and this way to obtain survival and eternity of the personal existence. I come forth from the eternal, and I have repeatedly returned to the presence of the universal Father. I know of the activity and the personality of the first source and center, and the eternal and universal Father. I know that while the great God is absolute, eternal, and infinite, he is also good, divine, and gracious. I know the truth of the great declarations. God is spirit, God is love, and those two attributes are most commonly revealed to the universe in the eternal Son. That was part 3 of part 1 of the book of Urantia. I'm just going through reading it for each episode. So that was my live for that. And if you have any questions about the book of Urantia, just go ahead. Feel free uh, to contact me. I just got done reading part 3 of the book of Urantia. So now I've done that one, and I have one I want to do with you on Zoroastrianism. So hold on, I did some research on that, and I got it all in my notes. So I can look it up right quick. I'm gonna go read that to you about Zoroastrianism. Um, It is the last one that I did. Let's see. Yeah, I do probably about 2 a day. That's what I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to put some time up here, with everybody. So y'all can get to know, I'm here still doing this. So what was that? Okay. So what I need to do is this. I need to go to my Outlook, and I need to go to documents, downloads. Let me see. Give me a chance here. I'm actually going and getting my the parts of my presentations. It's really driving me crazy how to get this video to be able to pull up a file if I wanted to, and and put it on the screen. I haven't learned that yet. You know. Um. So let me get my OneDrive file on Zoroastrianism. Um. Go to ah, ah, ah. This is like I'm having a hard time. I really am, because and I'm getting mad about it, but I'm not really getting mad about it. Just fussing a little bit. Open. So, does anybody here actually know about Zoroastrianism? It is interesting to me because it is 600 or 700 BCE. Yet, at that time, everything was polytheistic, but Zoroastrian was not. Zoroastrian at that time, at 700 BC, was monotheistic, but it had a little twist to it too. It had the Zoroastrian deity had two characters, a good and a bad. So even though they said it was one deity, it can be good or bad. So instead of being strictly monotheistic, it had characteristics of being dualism. So that's what happened. And so here they are. It's 700 BCE, and man is actually polytheistic, tribal, headhunters, things like that. And they actually come across the Zoroastrian guy who's talking about one God for all. This is really close to what Christianity is. So he's telling them that, and they're like, you know, um, we don't really care because Zoroastrianism is heavy, and it's heavily practiced in the same place it was practiced for years. It's in what's that called? Iraq. It's one of the subdivisions of Iraq. It's called Zoroastrianism. And with Zoroastrianism, it started with a guy. He was born into a line of priests. He was a priest, and his name was Zoroaster. And he said that a divine being gave him instructions to form a religion with one God in the midst of all the people with many gods. And they kicked him out of his home village. And he went to a king named Shivkista. And this king accepted what he said as true and allowed Zoroastrianism to flourish for some time before he just died. Okay, so that's how it got started. It's one of the oldest religions. It was here before Christianity for sure, because it's before Christ's era. Yeah, so it was what early Mesopotamians may have been, similar to Zoroastrianism. So, what is Zoroastrianism? It has one God, but the God can be sometimes good and sometimes evil. So, sometimes they say it got two gods because of that. And then it also has a very, very similar belief to Christianity. Zoroastrian believe in a person doing bad and going to a spot, but the spot was in their mind, and they felt like if they did good, they would go to a spot, and the spot was in their mind. So they were basically saying through a novel way is that heaven is in your mind, but the way it could be perceived could be anything. Um, so All right, so now Zoroastrianism, once it started out, the Aryans, the Aryan people took it on for a little while, and since the books are messed up, you got Herodotus who wrote some of it, and then some of it in the Avera, and it's a bunch of different pieces together. So they handle it so different. The religion has turned into something that Zoroaster never intended it to be, because they kept swapping the deities out and doing all this stuff. Now it doesn't even resemble the same religion as it did when it started. But one thing it does still have is the snakes that were, part of it, animals that was a part of it. And uh, so Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic belief in one God. And at that time when it was around, Akhenaten, a pharaoh in the Egyptian times, way back in antiquity, had had tried the monotheistic approach, and they hated him and they desecrated everything he had. But here, another person tried to have that approach on it, and it's not going so good. But so Zoroastrianism is really close to Christianity in a lot of the beliefs. You be bad, you go to hell. You be good, you go to heaven. Only difference is it's not in your it's in your mind. The hell is in your mind, the heaven is in your mind. Okay, so now that's the main part of Zoroastrianism, but it's one part that I really wanted to talk about that may seem gruesome, but this is not to pick on anyone or hurt anyone or offend anyone. Please don't be offended. The Zoroastrianism has a a tradition with their dead that doesn't match the Christian tradition. Zoroastrianism has a funeral ritual where the body is placed on a rack and left there in the sunshine for birds to feed off. Um, why are you doing that to your dead relative? And the answer is, why are you doing that to your dead relative and put them on the rack? Because we want them to have a all natural way to go. All natural. They don't want salted organs. They don't want all this stuff that people are doing for the ritual. They just want a clean way to get rid of the dead. And they didn't mind attacking humans or anything. But they are dangerous, you know. So now if you think about all that I have told you about the Zoroastrianism, then you will know that it's very close to Christianity. But imagine taking your loved one up a long ramp into the stone circle. The circle is full of racks for bodies. They have one big, huge one. It's antique. It's called the Tower of Silence. It's a giant circle like a donut where they put out. It has no top, but it has the walls in a circular shape and a ramp going up to it for the ceremony, and it is filled with racks for them to lay their dead bodies on for the birds to eat. They revere this. Okay, what may seem heinous is very natural when you think about it, and that's the way it was supposed to be. So now you have uh, man hiding, not just the dogs. Man himself is hiding. So Zoroastrianism is pretty good when it come down to teaching you that be real with your words, I would say. They said they do this thing, although it appeared gruesome, because they feel it's the natural way to go back into the system. Don't get hung up on the body laying out in the sun to be eaten by the birds. Go past that and look at the fact they wanted the body and the soul and the spirit to go back directly into nature. And that's what they do. And that long, long walk up those stairs, before they did it. It was not like, oh, let me just grab in and start getting there, I don't think so. But I could be wrong. So when I talk to you about Zoroastrianism, it's not because it's my religion. It's because these are examples of monotheistic religions that predate the Bible. Now, that was rare that they had monotheistic. Most of them had polytheistic. So when I find one that has the one God, they should be tied in. You never know. Zoroastrian was so close to Christianity. Almost everything identical, except for the burial procedure. So that really they could be the same thing. So that's what I was saying. So okay, now this one was on Zoroastrianism, and the next one I'm going to read is going to be, oh wait a minute, let me take a break. I'll stop this recorder. Okay, so this one is called The Reality. No, I already did that one. Hold on. God is the universal spirit. I'm reading the whole book. This one is called The Mystery of God out of the book of Urantia. That's little sections. The infinity of the perfection of God is such that it eternally constitutes him mystery. And the greatest of all the unfathomable mysteries of God is the phenomenon of the divine indwelling of mortal minds. The manner in which the universal Father sojourns with the creature of time is the most profound of all universal mysteries. The divine presence in the mind of man is the mystery of mysteries. The physical bodies of mortals are the temples of God, notwithstanding that the sovereign Creator's sons came near the creatures of their inhabited worlds and draw all men to themselves, though they stand at the door of consciousness and knock and delight to come in to all who will open the doors of their heart. Although there does exist this intimate personal communication between the Creator sons and their mortal creatures, nevertheless, mortal men have something from God Himself, which actually dwells within them. Their bodies are the temples of. Even they know that. When you are thrown down here, when your course has been run in temporary form on earth, okay, so when you are thrown down here, when your course has been run in temporary form on earth, when your trial trip is the flesh is finished, when the dust that composes the mortal tabernacle returns to the earth whence it came, then it is revealed the indwelling spirit shall return to God who gave it. There sojourns within each mortal being of this planet a fragment of God, a part and parcel of divinity. It is not yet yours by right of possession. It is designedly intended to be one with you if you survive the mortal existence. Okay, let me read that part again because it's very important. When you are through down here, when your course has been run in temporary form on earth, when your trial trip in the flesh is finished, when the dust that composes the mortal tabernacle returns to earth whence it came, then it is revealed the indwelling spirit shall return to God who gave it. The sojourns within each being of this planet is fragment of God, a part and parcel of divinity. It is not yet yours by right of possession, but it is designedly intended to be one with you if you survive the mortal existence. We are constantly confronted with the mystery of God. We are nonplussed by the increasing unfolding of the endless paranoia of the truth of the infinite goodness. Endless mercy, matchless wisdom, and superb character. The divine mystery consists in the inherent difference which exists between the finite and infinite, the temporal and the eternal. Well, I guess then to get finished with reading it, I'll be back. Gotta go now though. I only had 30 minutes. I gotta go. So, bye.